Oh, it is.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the FearFans podcast. I'm your host, Don Elmy, and with me is our friend Joe. And so, yeah, we're gonna have we're gonna start. A few of us are running late. They're gonna be joining us in a little bit. But so this week, I'm responding to I'm doing something this week that a lot of people have been requesting for, and that is to cover Blade. This is a great vampire movie that not only is it an awesome vampire movie, it also very well saved the superhero genre when it was on the down when it was starting to decline in the late '90s.
It did. It was, yeah. It was part of the Marvel comics. Actually,
That's right. Yep.
Blade was part
Yep.
of the Marvel comics when I was growing up, and
That
and but yeah, this is was one of the better Marvel movies put together. Well casted.
mhm.
All three, right up to the trilogy, were great movies.
Oh yeah. Hey Santi, good to see you. And hey Billy, thanks so much for tuning in. And hey Leon, good to see you. Let's see. It was declining after it took. Yeah. Well, it was this movie along with X Men that really revived the whole superhero genre, the whole craze. And it's also worth noting that this was written by David S. Goyer, who was known for doing all kinds of screenplays for what became a huge hits as far as superhero movies go. Like after he wrote the Blade trilogy. He also his most notable work is the Dark Knight trilogy. And let's see, he also wrote Man of Steel and Dawn of Justice.
Wow,
Yeah, so
got quite the
he's
superhero resume there.
oh yes, and before
Well, they
this,
had to
he
take
was
Batman somewhere to the Dark Knight. They had to take that. That was inevitable.
oh yes, hey Babyface, good to see you. And yeah, I mean, I would think after Batman and Robin, they were probably just thinking, you know what, the guy who wrote Blade, we need him to make Batman awesome again.
Well, Batman did go to the dark side, kind of. You had that dark version of him in the comic books later. I mean, yeah, there was the old. But the other thing I want to tell you about this that I noticed, and I never really paid attention to it a whole lot. And I've seen this movie probably a lot more than any of the others that you've previewed. And I didn't notice it right away until I was rewatching it today.
Hmm.
The woman that at the very beginning of the movie, the woman that's taken the dude to the like bloodbath, as I call it, where they're like looking, and all that shower, the coming down
Yeah,
from the all right, all that blood's coming down. Well, that woman was a porn star,
yeah, that's Tracy Lords. Yeah, she
Tracy
has a very
Lord.
she has a very controversial background. Yeah, because before she
75 75 porno movies that she made before she turned 18. And
my
those
God,
were all in the span from 1984 to 1985. She's a year younger than me. So she didn't
Jesus.
turn 18 until 86. And then after 86, she did 10 more before she got her start on TV, where she first appeared in Wise Guy.
And before she got busted by the FBI.
Right.
And so let's see. Joe, I want to mention that Marvel at this point is filing for bankruptcy too, selling their rights. So yeah, like Marvel's not doing that great lately. Let's see.
Well, in my
Jer
eyes, what
Hey
was it?
Jeremy.
Who does the Avengers? Is that Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Oh, which one? Well,
Yeah.
anyway, all I know is one of the two, their movies weren't that great when they were coming out.
Hey Jill.
Hi.
Hey. Thank you. Glad you could be here. Glad to have you. So yeah, so tonight we're covering Blade, and I wanted to do something new for this. Yeah, because last week Nick showed us that like trailer for Dawn of the Dead before we really like started with this. But so I'm thinking I should start off every video by just giving people a trailer just to remind them to give them of what each movie is? Hang on.
Great.
These ads. Hang on. Yeah, so I wanted to play this trailer just to give those who haven't seen this an idea, and also to remind everybody here. So, yeah, got this loaded up in 6 seconds. These ads. Okay, so go to present, share screen. Here, let me just do this. Okay, yeah, let's check out this trailer before we get started.
Tonight, they awaken. A secret race hidden here among us. With a lust for power
We should be ruling the humans.
that knows no bounds.
The world belongs to us, not the humans.
They have no fear. But one.
There are worse things out tonight than vampires.
Like what?
Like me. There's a war going on out there. Blade, myself, we killed as many of them as we can find.
Part human, part immortal.
I know all about you. Daywalker.
He alone has the power of both worlds.
All our strengths, none of our weaknesses.
And when the world of the living is at an end, he alone can turn back the tide.
You're nothing to me but another dead vampire.
Wesley Snipes, Stephen Dorff,
He makes the weapons. I use them.
Blade.
Yeah, so as you can see, like this is like this has been a very action-packed movie. That's like one of the main things it's known for is the action, the martial arts, the sword play. Man, what happened to your friend Nick? Is he normal here on the pod? Oh yeah, he might show up tonight. He just had an important meeting going on.
I tell you though, that the way they casted that, it was so perfect. I mean,
Yep. Wesley Snipes is Blade.
but that one scene, he's got all of their strengths and none of their weaknesses. Well, that's a false statement. You don't have all their strength because he ages like you and I do, not like a vampire.
Right, they did point that out in the film. And also, yeah, Whistler. Yeah, he did point out that he ages like a human, and also he still has the bloodthirst of a vampire.
The bloodthirst.
Yeah. Oh, Babyface is saying okay.
Hi.
And let's see. It's not Marvel now. I'm talking about Marvel back in the 90s. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, back in the 90s, they had it rough. Like, unlike all the companies that want to make a superhero movie had it rough. You know, like, there have been spitting out some bad ones, especially like with Steel and Batman and Robin. It was a dark time for that genre.
Yeah, and then popping off all the different TV series, you know.
Mm-hmm. Stephen Dorff. Oh, yeah. Stephen Dorff, who played Deacon
Frost. Comic books.
Yep. Let's see. Stephen Dorff. Yeah, he played Deacon Frost in this. He's the main villain. And, yeah, like, a lot of people, there have been people who've, I have talked to about this, who have complained about Deacon Frost's portrayal in this, saying he's done nothing like the comics. Like, because apparently in the comics, he's, like, German, he's older, has white hair. But in this, he is, like, a younger, like, in his 20s. And to me, he has, like, this spoiled rich boy kind of vibe to him. And
yeah,
you know, he's throwing parties, saying like going against authority. That's just like the kind of way. That's just the way, the vibe I got off of him. Yeah. Hey, Dead Souls. Thanks for tuning in. I love the Blade movies. Oh yes, we were pointing out that all of them have been written by David S. Goyer, who also went on to write the Dark Knight trilogy. And I was gonna say before he wrote Blade, he also wrote that not so great sequel to The Crow, City of Angels, and also he wrote that cheesy straight to video horror film, Demonic Toys.
I don't think I saw
So
that one.
yeah, I saw that one too, but
I
it was a
saw
long
the
time.
I saw the crow one, but I don't think I saw the other one.
Batman and Robin was the worst. Oh jeez, yeah, it's one of the worst.
Yeah, well, it was Casty.
Yeah,
That was
was
all
it Blade that
Cast.
saved them? Yeah, yes, it was Blade that saved him from bankruptcy. Yeah, this was a huge box office hit. In fact, all of them were. It's like at first, like there was some negative criticism about Blade, but for the most part, fans enjoyed it. You know, they loved the action and like the opening scene alone was very gripping. You know, showing Blade's origin and then what happened like 30 years later when he became a vampire hunter. You know, just one his mission in life was to rid the world of vampires using garlic, the silver stakes, and also his sword, his titanium
And
sword.
the ultraviolet light.
Yep.
You know, I mean, I think the other thing that made that a big success is that you had Wesley Snipes in there and Chris Christopherson, two very big names that were drawing the money. Not to mention, it wasn't just a superhero movie; it was a vampire movie. You
Yeah.
know, and that's going
Yeah.
to draw a whole bunch of people. You know.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, with especially after you show everybody a trailer like that.
Oh yeah.
Beyond in 5. Oh, okay, Kate. Looking forward to having you on.
And
So when
and
did you
like
guys
most
first see
movies,
Blade?
that wasn't the only trailer though either.
Yeah.
You know, they had more than one trailer out there for that movie.
Oh yeah, they've seen other trailers for this. Yeah, they had multiple. Oh, here. Billy was saying that he also wrote Ghost Rider 2 and Terminator Dark Fate. Oh yeah, I wasn't a big fan of Dark Fate. Yeah. Oh, hey, Kobe. Good to see you. Have you posted your reaction videos? Yeah, I've edited them, but they're just taking a long time to upload. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. I'm just thinking they right. It's like I wanted them uploaded today, and now my Wi-Fi decided to act like that. And so let's see. Did you guys first see Blade?
I was actually that's when the Edwards Theater opened here in Fresno for the first time that I started managing,
Oh,
and it's like I have really fond memories for Blade because, and it's really funny that this is the case, but that's how I started seeing my son's dad. I asked him out to watch a movie with me because he was my coworker,
oh,
and it
nice.
was like just friends, we're coworkers, but that's basically
Yeah.
our first date. So I always
Wow.
tell it to people like I asked him out, he said yes, and we watched Blade. So it was just something I wanted to see, and he was willing, to watch horror movies with me. So it
Not
worked
what I
out.
would think of a date movie, but
Yeah, I was just really excited to see Blade and Wesley Snipes and vampires.
Oh
He
yeah.
didn't seem as excited, but it's
Oh yeah.
okay.
yeah, I didn't get to see it. I didn't get to see it until it came out on myself until probably 2 years later when it came out on VHS or video.
Oh,
Because in
Oh,
'98, I was still recuperating from the leukemia, and there was no way I was going to go to a crowded theater at the time.
yeah.
You
oh
know,
yeah.
and at that time, those theaters were packed for Blade because it was a blockbuster hit.
Mhm.
Oh
Basically,
yeah.
it did really good at the box office, like you said. That's what saved Marvel.
Yep.
You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah. That saved Marvel, and then they put out X-Men, and that became a huge hit, and the rest is history. Making and then Iron Man, the first of the many MCU films, and
well, that's because they casted them right. See,
yeah,
DC
that's
didn't DC. The problem I have with like the DC, some of the DC movies, they didn't cast them right.
yeah, especially
You know,
oh man, especially yeah. For example, Jared Leto as Joker, like really.
you know.
Speaking of Jared Leto, that that movie Morbius. They were going to feature Michael Morbius as a character in the end of like as a villain in Blade 2, but Marvel wasn't didn't allow that. And that's the one that Guillermo del Toro directed. But it's like people waited so long to like to have a Morbius movie made, and like the end result was a mess.
They were just playing all the Blade movies this past weekend, so
Yeah, I
wasn't
missed
able
them.
to watch it.
I had to watch it another way. I missed it when it was on cable.
They're replaying again this weekend, so I have it set to record again because if you don't
Well,
watch
I got them on a shelf over here. There's a shelf. It's so full of DVDs and VHS tapes. Yeah,
you guys
it's worse than that. It's worse than that because it goes like it's like one of those shelves you would have out in your garage. It's all metal and you got the wood shelves on it. So you've got 3 or 4 layers back. It goes 3 or 4 layers deep of movies. Not to mention how high each shelf is in there. So there's probably a couple thousand movies on that shelf. I found Trilogy and I found the second one. I couldn't find the first one.
Oh,
I was digging for it, but I rented it.
Mm.
Oh, I gotcha. Here, Billy sent me a link to check out the Japanese trailer for Blade, but the link is not working. It doesn't. Yeah, any link you guys post on here through YouTube, it doesn't work on at least not from the studio that we're in.
I heard about your collection, Jeremy. I was told you could start your own video store and then some. Oh. I was like that at once.
There. Oh, here's the Japanese trailer. I found a link to it. Yeah, Billy just sent me a link, but here I believe I found it right here on YouTube. Here we might as well just check that out as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Here, now this thing's acting up on me. Okay.
Blade's mother was attacked by a vampire while she was pregnant. She died, but he lived. Unfortunately, he'd undergone certain genetic changes. Vampires.
その肉体は不死身。その魂は人間。彼は血を流すヴァンパイア。
I've spent my whole life looking for that thing that
We should be ruling the humans. For fuck's sake, these people are our food.
You're one of them, aren't you?
I'm something else.
This night, for the blood god,
You saw what was on that disc.
Blade's blood is the key.
Wesley Snipes. Stephen Dorff. Blade.
Wow, that was insane. It shows like a lot more violence than the American trailers do. Like that's one of the things that stuck out for me as far as when Blade was like slaying vampires. All the vampires disintegrate. Yeah, first their their flesh disappears, and then their skeletons.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, and let's see. I grew up with Marvel. Oh yeah, so did I. And yeah, DC has done a poor job except for casting. Superman. Oh yeah,
Yep.
Jason Momoa.
Henry
Yeah,
and Jason Momoa. Those are the only two I agreed with.
Yep, so do I. And yeah, like because DC recently has told us if you want to make Aquaman cool, have him played by Jason Momoa.
Yeah. I mean, in the I don't know. I mean, in the cartoons, they kind of made him a kind of a wuss, with the blonde hair. But they did do. I liked how they did do that throwback to him, that cartoon, by making the green and gold outfit for him.
Oh,
That
yes.
was the smartest thing they ever did. Was cast him for Aquaman.
Totally. And speaking of casting, there's a new Blade movie coming out. Coming out next year. I'm hoping that the new guy, is the new guy's gonna be. I feel a good feeling about him because he's like won several Academy Awards for like other great roles that he's done. But he seems like a good fit for Blade. Yeah, try to like remember his name.
Sometimes replacing the main actor is not always a good thing.
Yeah, Mahershala Ali, that's his name. He says he's taking over the role for Blade.
He's got some boots to fill.
Oh yeah, that he does. Yeah, Wesley Snipes, he was awesome as Blade. Here's Kate. Hey, Kate.
Hi. There's something wrong with my audio. I'm going to come back in. 1 sec.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's working now. I can hear you guys. Hi.
Okay, great. Hey,
Sorry.
Good to see you.
Perfect.
And
good to see you guys. Yeah.
So, I forgot to mention, Jill, aside from you, the rest of us are dealing with some terrible winter weather. Like it's been below 10 below or 15 below today. So
it's 5 below right now here.
Oh wow.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not the wind chill factor, though.
Oh, here. Do you think should be kept to R-rated? Oh, yeah, I think so. Like because it'll show because when it's R-rated, it gives us more action.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I just managed to, because apologies for being late. I was just downing some food. I managed to watch the Japanese trailer that you just showed. Can I just say, how much more epic are Japanese trailers than American ones? Like, just like the voice and like they always like clip with the action and it like, why don't they do trailers like that over
They
here?
think we're too soft.
Yeah.
It's like
I said this about them a while back somewheres. They make games the way they make games, and the perfect example of this is because I know this. Back in the day, there was a game called Super Mario 3. Okay.
Yeah.
I had the Japanese version of that game. Okay. And so it had to have an adapter so I could play it in my American Nintendo system.
Yeah.
So because the cartridge was much smaller. So there was but the thing was, that game was much harder. Same game, but you got less chances before you died. I mean, when you were the big raccoon Mario or whatever, it took 3 hits and you'd be dead. You got 2 chances and you were done.
Yeah, you see, so like Japan is just, it's just a whole other level.
Oh yeah, they hold nothing back in movies and in games. Like I played those. I know exactly what you're talking about, Joe. I actually played those on emulator on the Switch.
Nice.
So, yeah, and yeah, it's super hard, especially like the Japanese version of the second game of Mario Brothers 2.
I didn't like that one that much.
Oh, at least not the American version. Yeah, American
I didn't
version
like either version. Yeah.
Yeah, I also think that Blade in particular is quite suited for the manga anime style. Like I don't know if there is, but is there an adaptation for it to be, instead of not a comic but manga anime? Is there? Because I want to know, because it would be perfect.
It would be nice for a manga. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes. And here, Shadowheart was saying something about Stephen Dorff, once described as a man who almost consistently had a career. Yeah, that part is true. Like he's had some good roles and some not so good roles. Like I remember first movie I ever saw him in was in The Gate, another horror film that was released in 1987. It was Yeah, he played a boy who his friend and his sister uncovered a portal to hell, and
I
all hell breaks
remember
loose.
that.
Yeah.
But I think I confused that with the Johnny Depp one. What's the one that's similar about a gate?
Ninth Gate.
Ninth Gate.
Gate.
That's
Oh,
the one
yeah,
I'm thinking, Jill. Yep.
Yeah, and then
I always
it's
confuse
like,
them.
oh yeah, it's but his role in Blade as Deacon Frost is definitely like one of his best, even though it is different from the comic books, like a few people complained about. But yeah, like he's had some bad roles too. Like I remember seeing him in this a terrible Uwe Boll film called Alone in the Dark. You know, his character was terrible. Yeah, that movie's horrible.
Yeah, I saw that.
Blade would demolish Twilight.
I think some of those diehard fans need to take a chill pill, because when you go to take a comic book and try to turn it into a movie, you ain't going to follow it exactly. I mean, you got to change it up a little bit, bring it up to the time. Some of those comic books were like started back in the 70s, you know, and even before that, you know, when it came to the superhero comic books, and they make that complaint, oh, you didn't follow the comic books about the guy's origins or whatever. You know, you're gonna find minor mistakes. Like I pointed out, you know, all of his strengths. No, because he ages. Blade ages like a human.
Yeah,
not like vampires.
Yeah, like in the comics, I think they told me that in the comics his aging like slows down. You know, I mean, but like a vampire does, because vampires like live for centuries. You know, like
right, hundreds of years, thousands of years. But
yeah, because in this film they depict vampires having like there's like two different types of vampires. One is like the purebloods, you know, vampires that were born that way, and they act as like the elders and the government, you know, the higher ups, like in the vampire society.
It's like a mafia.
And then the other vampires are you know, vampires that were once human but were just turned. You know, Deacon Frost was one of those, and Deacon Frost, his plan in this movie, he aspires to be the ultimate vampire, you know, like by resurrecting La Magra, the blood god. And he wanted to use this to cripple the vampire government and to completely take over the you know, completely wipe out the human race. Because here's the thing, in Blade, the vampire society, you know, is a hidden society that lives among humans. But Frost didn't want to go in that direction. He wanted to like rule all of mankind.
Well, you know, they built that whole vampire hierarchy system around how the mafia was built.
That's true. And here, Billy's asking if we've seen Echo, but
I haven't seen it yet. No,
not yet.
Not yet. It's too new. It only came out like a few weeks ago, didn't it? Oh, too new. But yeah, I'm way behind.
I agree with that. They couldn't have picked a better guy for Whistler.
Oh yeah, Abraham Whistler.
I'm a big fan of Chris Christopherson.
Yes, and I believe that Abraham comes from Abraham Van Helsing. In Dracula.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, talking about Twilight. So, yeah. Can you imagine if Twilight came out at around the same time as Blade? What would be more popular?
Yeah, can
you imagine?
There'd be some serious box office rivalry.
Yeah, there would be, because you got all the younger generation going, you know, because when Twilight came out, you saw Team, what was it? Damn it. The two main characters, one the werewolf and the vampire, Team Edward and Team Jacob. That's what it was. Yeah, you had all this stuff all over. And my daughter had to have this stuff because she was Team Edward, posters and all this. You know, and then you got the little bit older generation that are like just movie fanatics that would be like, hey, this is a real vampire movie. Let's go see Blade, you know.
That's true.
You know, it would be a battle at the box office, but I got a feeling there's more of us at the time when Blade came out. If Twilight would have came out at the time, I don't think Twilight would have done it big.
Blade doesn't sparkle. Can you imagine? They just like throw glitter on him.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing.
For
That
the longest
wouldn't
time, I
have
didn't know
worked too
Blade
well.
was a Marvel. Oh yeah, yeah,
I didn't
and
know.
also,
I didn't
How
know
could
that.
you not know?
No,
I mean,
no,
I was
In
no
only
those
idea.
10 when it-
movies, they do the thing with the Marvel thing right at the beginning.
I know,
Yeah.
Joe. I suck. Didn't realize.
Yeah. And
Well, I grew
it's
up
also-
with, between me and my brother, we grew up collecting all the superhero comic books.
Oh.
And then some really weird stuff from the 60s and the 70s, you know.
You were like
And
pro.
I don't have my collection anymore. When I got old enough, I just decided to give it away to my brother. So I don't know if he's got the collection still, but it's got to be worth
Yeah.
quite a few
and
bucks.
I imagine. Yeah, like some of the older comic books, like first editions, yeah, those are definitely
Oh, there
worth
was
something.
nothing like first editions in there, but there was some rare books in there. You know, some rare comics in there. But I
Yeah.
think Blade would have. I think if Twilight came out around the same year that Blade came out, I think Blade still would have beat him at the box office.
Yeah, totally. And it's also worth. We were just talking about Whistler. It's worth noting that Whistler wasn't like first created in the comics. He was added on to when like Blade was a character in the animated Spider-Man show back in the 90s. I guess I missed that episode,
Right.
but yeah, like Abraham Whistler was created from that show.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I learned that just a few years ago. And yeah, Chris Christopherson, you know, he's an amazing, like you've been saying, he's an amazing actor and great musician too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
He was part of the Highwaymen.
Oh yeah, and
I.
I-
Mm.
You don't
I
know who
just-
they are, or do I need to tell you?
I need to listen to them. I've probably heard some of their work.
The Highwaymen consisted of Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson,
Oh,
Chris
there we are.
Christopherson, and I think it was Merle Hager.
yeah,
Or no, it wasn't Merle Hager. It was the one on the Dukes. Always showed his hands, but not his face on TV.
it was based on Iron Man. Oh, they
That
did
sounds
that. Really?
good,
Waylon
Billy.
Jennings. It was Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, and Chris Christopherson. They were the Highwaymen.
Oh, big names.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Ghost Rider would end the Twilight universe. Not if it was Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage ain't doing anything. Sorry.
Where?
No shade for Nicolas Cage. I just don't
So,
like him as
now
an
have we
actor.
got-
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
No, yeah, not only we got vampires, but now werewolves too.
That was so good. I'm sorry. I just
And,
don't like Nicolas Cage.
and-
Yeah, I don't. I mean, he's got good movies and all, but as a
Has
person,
he though?
as a person, I don't know, because of what he did. You know, there was
Yeah.
something he did that I don't agree with. So
Yeah. Could we also talk about the controversy with the Blade movies? Because I know there was massive drama behind the scenes with
oh,
the main. Yeah. Did you read
Yeah.
about all that, Don? Like, and
I mean, I've read
guys
that there was
about
some.
everything.
I read about a few couple mishaps, like from behind the scenes. There was that scene where that vampire Quinn, who was Frost's right hand man, he was
one that got his hand chopped
yeah, the
off a few
actor.
times.
Yeah, the actor
Mm.
Donald Logue. In that hospital scene where like he's they were examining his body, he's all burned up. Yeah, like Blade did that. And so in the scene where he's attacking Karen, and he just the Donald Logue, I guess he like slipped and fell like face first into the floor, and it dislodged his jaw. And apparently he had some kind of apparently that happened after like he had some kind of an injury like years before. And so it's like you would think that because they're in the hospital, like he can get treatment right away, right? But no, they were filming in an abandoned hospital, so they had to like rush him to a real hospital to get that fixed.
Oh man, and that's really
Yeah.
serious if you
Well,
do your jaw.
yeah,
Totally.
that's going to be painful.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, it's like, man, and people at the hospital gotta be freaking out because you're dragging over there somebody who has all these dark burn, like makeup effects on. And people are just like, "What is
Oh,
this guy? What
yeah.
is going on?" Yeah, man, I'm just imagining that how people are freaking out seeing that when they bring him in.
Yeah, I heard a lot about they didn't pay the main actor, and he was like legal battles trying to get paid for it, and then there was
Oh
like
yeah, that
lots of
was
drama and
Blade Trinity. Yeah.
Blade Trinity, okay. And then also race came up because 1998 there wasn't a lot of diversity back then, and so yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, and let's see, and they had some good people directing these movies. Like, let's see, like the first one was directed by Stephen Norrington, who also directed League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Second film, who my favorite director out of these three films was Guillermo del Toro, who also directed Pan's Labyrinth and The Shape of Water, among many other things. Yeah, very, very, very talented director. And the third one is the one that the writer himself, David S. Goyer, directed. Yeah. Well, wait. Wish they had a better actor for Drake in Blade Trinity. Oh yeah, Drake as in Dracula. Yeah, that's. And at least they had Ryan Reynolds.
That Blade Trinity was the one that had what's his name in it too. Paul, Triple H.
Yeah, that's true.
And then he had them chrome or silver looking fangs in his mouth.
That's right. That's the one thing I remember. Yeah, they always have these things in like movies where these henchmen like have some kind of a unique characteristic to them, especially in the James Bond movies.
He was still a better actor than Hogan, though.
Yeah, I guess. Wait, Hulk Hogan? Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Totally. But let's see. What was I gonna say? I had something. Oh yeah, there was some like a vampire. Like we obviously we see like there's a lot of weaknesses for the vampires in the in this. But the one definite was like sunlight. The vampires couldn't be out during daylight, but with the exception of if they have like sunblock on. And I'm just thinking, really?
Yeah, but that theory, that whole theory, that isn't the first time that was used with vampires. Because you remember that scene, they were out with the elder, Frost was out with the elder and they were waiting. You've never seen it. Oh, wait, you've never seen a sunrise, have you? You were born a vampire.
Yeah.
That scene right there. All right. Now, that exact scene is from a TV series called Kindred.
Oh.
Right.
That was Kindred was based on vampires. And the vampires had a prince instead of a godfather that overlooked all the different families. All right. They did that same scene. And when they did that, the vampires were out there with sunblock on.
Oh.
Wow.
So it's kind of been recycled. Yeah.
So
I think on that scene too, they were wearing like those biker helmets, the blacked out helmets to cover from the sun.
Because it's all they got to do is block the UV rays. Because if you were listening to Whistler, he was using a UV light. And he says, oh, it's still a little heavy, but you're a big guy,
Yeah. Yeah, you're a big guy. You can still use it.
Right. But that was a UV lamp that he created to mimic the sunlight.
Yep. And the only time we ever seen him really use that in the movie is that scene where he confronted Pearl, the record keeper, that heavily obese vampire. It was like
he
just
didn't
sitting down
use it.
monitoring
She
all
did.
the computers. Or not him.
Karen
She did.
used it.
I mean, Karen used it. What I'm saying is the only time it was ever like used in general, not just by Blade.
Right.
Yeah. So, and seriously, that scene was kind of disturbing. Like there's some serious effects had to go into like making that guy look seriously obese, like close to weighing like 1,000 pounds, like on that one of those shows on. I don't know what it's called. I don't watch TLC, but
they had some experience with things like that, in Hollywood. Look at the guy that sat in that Jabba the Hutt costume in Star Wars.
Oh, jeez.
You know.
I know, right?
Mm.
Doom.
Or the Spaceballs guy. What they call him? Pizza something?
Pizza the Hut. Yeah, the parody. I remember that.
Pizza the Hut.
Oh man,
That's
yeah.
so bad. That's so bad.
Mel Brooks, man. But yeah, and let's see, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, we should talk about the scene where it's like the nightclub scene, the rave. Yeah, so we were talking about earlier about the controversial actress Tracy Lords, who was playing
The
this
porn star.
redheaded, yeah, the underage porn star, who was
Oh no.
who is, I know that's what's
Yeah,
made
she
her
did.
so controversial.
I'll do it again in case you missed it. Tracy Lords from 1984 to 1985 did 75 pornos, and she lied about her age.
What?
She said she was
No.
2 years older than what she was, so she was only 16 at the time.
That's abuse, isn't it? That's horrendous.
After she turned 18 in 1986, and I know that's when she turned because she's a year younger than I am. She made 10 more after she was 18. So she did a total of 85 porno movies from 1984 until 1986. And then in 88, she showed up on her first TV appearance on a TV series called Wise Guy, one episode.
Good God.
Wow. Poor
Yeah,
women,
so-
honestly.
Yeah, she has a pretty dark background. But in this movie, she plays like this. I'm sure they gave her a name somewhere, but she's like she's redhead and brings a human to like a rave party. And
Yeah, she's at the very beginning of the movie.
Yep, and then she brings him into like this. What started off as like bring him into the slaughterhouse, and this where apparently like this party's hidden in a back room. And I'm just thinking, okay, dude, that should be like a red flag right there, where a woman is bringing you into a slaughterhouse.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah, that should be.
And you're walking through all the freezers.
Yeah, walk through freezers with all the hanging, skinned cows and whatnot, and then so yeah, brings them back into this room where there's like 1,000 people in there, like all partying, and there's like techno music, and the
sprinklers
fire
are going off, pouring blood.
Yeah, the fire sprinklers pour blood in this event they call the bloodbath. Yeah, it pours blood down on the crowd. That's when the guy's freaking out, and that's when Blade shows up and starts offing people. Often all the vampires.
Yeah, and no, Tracy Lords is like the second female vampire that was killed.
I think he killed a few right before her though, but yeah, she was one of the earliest.
Mm.
And yeah, and then she went up to him and hissed at him while he had a shotgun pointed right under her chin. I'm just like, what are you doing? It's like. And of course, the vampires fear Blade so much that they give him the name Daywalker. Yeah, because sunlight doesn't affect him.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what everybody kept calling him in that scene.
And he is the only one that they know of that is a daywalker. Like, why is there not more daywalkers? Why
See,
is there just one?
that part,
Really
that's a
not
good
more.
question because that part I don't understand because because he was born a vampire. And so were some of the elders, right? But the elders have to have the sunblock when they go out. I figure it's got something to do that she became pregnant while she was still human in the middle of her turning. So somehow it affected his DNA that way. And they kind of said that.
That would make sense.
He
Like
became
L.
he became a Dampier. Yeah, Chris, it's a being that's born part human and part vampire. Like, another example is like in that video game Blood Rain. Yeah, that character Blood Rain. She's one. She's a Dampier.
That movie was good too. I liked that one.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the game. The movie's horrible.
I liked the movie.
No,
I give everything a chance. I don't know. Maybe it was just the actress in that movie.
Maybe it was like so bad that it was good.
Yeah, it could have
there
been
are
so
some
bad.
movies
Maybe I didn't realize how bad it was because I was paying too much attention to the actress that played Blood Rain.
Yeah, some of it didn't really make much sense. Like that scene where stabs where in the opening where they stab a vampire, he goes down, and everyone just treats it like it's nothing. Like, how are you all not freaked out by seeing a vampire living among you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless they thought it was
So
Halloween.
yeah, and they
But
also
no.
never speaking of time, they never say when the film takes place. Like you have to assume when it takes place. And here, yep, Shadowheart is right. Another prime example is the Clive McDavid here is Alucard from Castlevania. True.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Alucard, Dracula spelled backwards. Yep. And so Blade, because he was like mother was bitten by a vampire right before giving birth, he inherited all these abilities. He's got superhuman strength, speed, and has this healing factor, and he's an expert in both swords and guns, and is a martial artist. So this is a superhero that has a whole lot going for him.
Yeah, and again, it got a cross path kind of with Star Wars again, because here you got the bad guy and the good guy, and the bad guy is kind of like the reason. He's like, it's almost like Deacon Frost is like, I'm the one that bit your mother. Yep. I made you. I'm like your father in a sense.
Can I ask, is the bad guy British?
Stephen Dorff? I'm not sure. I don't think he is.
Does he have a British accent in this? Because I don't remember very well. Because I always find, like, especially in the 90s, so many of the villains were British. And I'm like, why? Why are we always the bad guys? So yeah, like literally every film.
I guess some people just wanted to have like villains that have like some kind of a unique characteristic, like having a different voice. I don't know.
Yeah, it must be the voice. It must be like Scar from The Lion King.
Some of those guys can create accents as well as they can hide them.
Yeah, some can hide their accent well. Like I was very impressed. One of my favorite examples in recent history is Bella Ramsey. She was able to pull off an amazing American accent in The Last of Us.
Oh yeah,
because I remember her in Game of Thrones, having that British accent. When she, and seeing her as a completely different character, in The Last of Us, I was like, wow, she's incredible.
Yeah, very convincing, very good.
Hugh Laurie, I never knew he was from someplace else until I saw him on TV. Yeah, on like David Letterman or something, and all of a sudden he's got this accent, and it's like, what the hell?
Funny, yeah.
And I never knew he was from like England or London or wherever the hell he's from, because I used to watch House all the time. That show that he was on.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I was a big fan of Hugh Laurie because of Gregory House. I kind of walked with a king and had, similar issues.
Oh.
But I was no doctor.
Oh, see you, DJ.
Bye.
Yeah. And so like one of the things we could talk about a little bit, like, are the effects in this film. Like one of the effects that like stands out is like the disintegration effects of the vampires when they die. It's like, even for 90s standards, these were pretty good effects. I mean, I do give the effects some credit for that. And the way they made Quinn like all burned up in the hospital, like that was like he made him look like an actual burn victim. My God.
I liked how the skeletons came out and were flying around.
Oh,
yeah. In that one scene, they and then all of a sudden the skeletons were left with wings and they were flying around before they entered Frost.
Oh, like at that ritual, yes.
Yeah, right. During the ritual, when with the skeleton, they didn't actually disintegrate. They, because it was part of that ritual thing that was going on.
That's right. And let's see.
I wanted to ask about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Was that series out around the same time, or did it come after? Because I don't really remember when it came out.
Oh no, it was on TV around that time. Yes,
it was on TV at the same time. Yeah.
Yes.
And Angel.
Oh yeah, Angel.
Yeah.
Everybody.
That whole vampire.
I never watched Buffy, but I did watch Angel.
Everybody says I look like Angel. David Boreanaz.
Yeah, you do. Definitely. Come on, put the picture up, Don. We need to see the picture now.
Oh, okay. Here. Okay,
We
let's
need
see.
to make a comparison.
Vivid Boreanus. Okay.
Choose your best side.
Well, that's better what people than what I get told I look like.
Who's that,
Let's
Joe?
see.
I was driving my mom to work, and she said I looked like somebody, and it's like, okay, thanks a lot, Mom.
I told you you looked like one of my ex-boyfriends. And you don't look like him to me.
Oh.
Well,
You're much more handsome.
Yeah.
when my mom told me that, I didn't have all this gray in my beard either.
I think
here,
you've
I got
got
it.
nicer cheekbones though, Joe. You have like the really nice
Oh, I'm also
cheekbones,
much
so-
taller than that man.
Yeah.
Much more handsome.
Oh, there we go. There's Don.
There's Don.
Don's doppelganger. There he is.
Oh my god.
That's so
Yeah, because I remember him
true.
from. Yeah, because I remember him from Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel, and also Valentine.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. That's
Oh.
uncanny.
Oh, did you shed a heart? A replica of late? That's awesome. Yeah, because I've been to stores
Wow.
like that where they sell where they sell replicas of weapons from movies and games. Like there was one time where I came across the store that had the Keyblade from Kingdom Hearts.
We have one.
I had a large collection before I moved. I
Yeah.
ended up
nice.
selling it off.
Yeah.
Of swords?
It's cool.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
the only one I kept was Excalibur.
Oh yeah, we've seen Excalibur. That's a lovely sword. Beautiful.
It's huge and heavy.
I can
I
imagine.
have a sword.
Arthur, if this is like, you know, even comparable to the weight, I'm sure the sword that was actually in the stone back in the Arthur days was made out of, you know, different materials than we have today, you know.
Yeah.
So it was probably much heavier than the one I have. Yeah, it's definitely got, and him to be able to wield that one-handed, he had to be one hell of a guy.
Yeah.
Wow. Awesome. Yeah, and
That's really cool.
and like that, and not just swords, but other weapons. Like I saw like a exact replica of a Freddy razor glove that had like actual razors on it. Like,
Yep.
Oh.
oh yeah.
I had a Wolverine claw that hung on my wall.
Oh, that's cool.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wolverine. Yeah. So it's basically indestructible then. Adamantium.
Right.
I do really like X-Men. Like, I'm so glad they had that Marvel revival in the late 90s, and like, you know, they had the X-Men. I just loved those movies. I really did growing up.
I had to get rid of most of that collection. So
Yeah.
I always had the unique and strange when it came to blades and stuff like that.
That's cool.
That's nice.
I kind of want Blade's the star that he throws, that's kind of like a boomerang.
It's like a boomerang. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's silver. That's silver. It's not. I mean, it's not a shuriken. It's a spinning kind of a blade you throw.
Yeah, but it's
I think
like
it's
a
like
boomerang.
Ninja Star.
You can make it somehow return to him.
Oh, good night,
Mhm.
Thomas. Yeah, he just like what
I
it is
seen
like.
something like that in a store once.
Yeah.
With his sword.
Yes, they were. It was. That was a great show, baby. Babyface Thunder, but I'm good. But yeah, it's just amazing what they do with the things that they can craft as far as different bladed weapons. You know, I mean, it's like over at Navy Pier, there used to be like a store that sold all kinds of crazy things like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
before-
I've always been
yeah, before-
interested in like the fellowship, the Lord of the Rings stuff. The Lord of the Rings, because that's always beautifully made. All of the elven swords and everything like that. Yeah, really pretty.
And Sting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Frodo's sword. That's not
Frodo's sword.
Well,
Yeah,
was
Yeah.
Bilbo's.
it was Bilbo's. Yeah, all they needed to do was make it go blue, glow blue, and it's all that's perfect.
Yeah.
Man, but yeah, and I just love that this film. Yeah, the production value, like when it comes to like the nightclub scene and places all over LA, and yeah, because I forgot to mention this movie takes place in LA.
Yeah. Do you think they are gonna remake it? Because there are rumors about it having its own TV series, right?
Yeah, they probably will because Hollywood's got no imagination. They keep remaking everything from the 80s
Yeah. So
and the
it's kind of
90s.
time.
Yeah.
They can't come up with anything new.
Yeah, so often they do that to pass it off as like, oh, hey, look at this. You remember this from decades ago? Now we made a new
Yeah.
one.
Well, my suggestion to them is bring out that movie. Like let's say take example, Blade. Bring that sucker out, but put all the stuff that ended up on the director's, the cutting room floor. The deleted scenes and stuff that didn't quite make the movie. And put it out as an anniversary edition. And you could even show that one at the theater too and still make money. No, they can't do that. We don't have that much of imagination. It's totally lost now. We got just keep remaking more and more movies of the same thing.
They might
for
have
me,
AI
I'm not sure if anything will beat the original.
it.
I'm not sure if anything will beat the original for me. Yeah, this is my
Right.
my 4K copy I have saved on my Apple TV.
I was about to say that's really good definition. Yeah, nice.
Oh, it is 4K. It's great stuff. Yeah,
Well,
that's the thing.
nothing beats the original, especially if it's casted right.
Yeah, exactly. Casted right.
And you're gonna watch this new Blade movie, and Wesley Snipes is not gonna be Blade, and you'll be disappointed, no matter how good the actor is.
Well,
you're
I'm
gonna
willing to give
compare him to Wesley Snipes.
I mean, I am willing to give Marshala Ali a chance. I mean, he's done some good work in the past. Like he was been in. Let's see. He's been in Luke Cage. He's been in like Spider-Man Across the animated Spider-Man movies. He's done a lot of great work.
But once an actor nails that role, it's hard for another actor to follow in his, without getting judged.
Right. Hollywood's done by remakes mostly.
Own mind. I mean, who's your favorite Batman?
I have to say,
ooh, good question. Michael Keaton is one of them.
That's the one most people refer to right away, Michael Keaton. And then you ask him who's the worst. Well, that's usually a toss-up between Val Kilmer and George Clooney.
Yeah.
Or maybe that guy that played Edward on thing, because he sucked too as Batman.
Or Christian Bale.
Oh, I liked him.
I like Christian Bale.
Christian Bale is he's like my number 2. Michael Keaton was number 1. But you also had Tim Burton directing that film too, or whatever.
Yeah, my least favorite. Yeah, my least favorite, George Clooney.
Yeah, see, it's usually a toss-up between George Clooney and Val Kilmer's portrayal of Batman.
Ben Affleck, like I thought he was
He
a bit meh.
too.
Like he didn't really.
I just don't like Ben Affleck. Period.
I mean, there are plenty of good. I mean, to this day, there are not all remakes are bad. There are still some good examples, like these, for instance. Dawn of the Dead remake, Invasion of the Body Snatchers,
The Fly.
The Fly, The Blob.
I'm not saying all remakes are bad. I'm just saying, some of them they just shouldn't do.
Yes, I mean that is true. Like, it's like
if they are going to do it, at least cast them right and have a good script, and don't deviate from the original too much. You can bring it up to date, but there's still,
Oh yeah,
I don't want to get us in trouble, but I can give you a couple examples when a movie they remade way too soon because they had to make it, what was it, politically correct, and it just screwed everything up. That Fantastic Four movie. where you had the black and white guy playing Storm and the Invisible Woman, and how they explained, about how they were related and all of this, and it's like,
well, I didn't have as
I
much
don't
problem with the
think I
casting
saw
as I
that
did.
one.
I mean, I didn't have as much problem with the casting as I did with the story overall. It's like,
right.
let's see, we're on an alien planet, and some green glowing stuff. Let's dip our hand in it. That was stupid. That was just stupid.
Yeah.
But to sit there and to remake it just to try to make it politically correct for the audience, and then you screw it up totally from the comic books in the original origins. I mean, the Storms were actual blood brother and sister.
I got you.
Mm.
Yeah.
The Invisible Woman and Johnny Storm, the one that was the Torch, the Human Torch, dude. They were actual brother and sister, not half brother and sister, not adopted or whatever. That whole thing just kind of,
I gotcha. Oh, and Shadowheart, yeah, I totally agree with you. Heath Ledger as Joker.
Yeah.
I believe that whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger.
I think
never gets
something. I think that's a sad story. He did. He outshined, and I hate to say this about the guy because I got a lot of respect for him, but he outshined Jack Nicholson's version. Okay,
he did. He took it in like a gritty new direction, and just really, it was like the true depiction of a madman.
Yeah.
And I got a feeling that he took it that one extra step that Jack Nicholson wasn't going to take it, because after that, Jack Nicholson got quoted as saying he was never going to play the Joker again because the Joker got inside his head too much.
Yeah.
There
was
with
mental health issues there.
So it makes me wonder now if, because Heath Ledger played such an awesome Joker and he took it to a whole new level, if that had something to do with him, dying and all that, and that drug overdose.
Oh yeah, that was
because the Joker might have got into his head too much during that time.
Yeah, well, he had a lot going. He had a lot of things going on. He was going through a divorce.
Right. But you get to play this really dark, evil, twisted character, and if the way he had to really somehow put himself in the Joker's shoes.
I think he was a known method actor,
right?
Like a lot of the actors,
really
nowadays.
Studied his character.
Yeah, totally. You just become.
And then he stayed in character while they were filming. So when there was a break, he stayed in character, kind of like Johnny Depp does.
Well, yeah, a lot of actors do that. They tend to really stay in character, so they don't, lose that zone, that they're in.
That's one character. I mean, Jack Nicholson's, when he did Joker, he was like a veteran actor, and he's like, never again. Thing got inside my head. I'm not going to do it. And look at the psycho he played in The Shining.
Oh yeah.
Or One Flew Over a Cuckoo's Nest and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which,
and the Joker got into his head of all of those characters that he played.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I just got it in 4K. Just recently.
Oh wow, that's cool. Yeah.
That's what I'm doing with my collection. Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's what I've been doing with my collection is replacing all the DVDs with Blu-ray and 4K, because I got a 4K TV right here that when I put a DVD on there through my PS5, it looks, and the quality looks like garbage, on the 4K screen. So I gotta change all these to either Blu-ray or higher than that, because it looks so much better on my new TV.
Yeah, I agree. Also about the actors, wasn't that what Evan Peters said when he was playing all of the new characters? He played that serial killer, didn't he, recently?
Ted Bundy.
Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you, Jill. Totally forgot. And he said that he needed a break from acting, didn't he? After that, he was like, "I'm done
Yeah.
for a while." 'Cause
Yeah,
that
there was
must
some.
get in your head.
Well,
Yeah,
there's some that not only do they get in your head, but you end up with their mannerisms.
That too.
Jeremy Davies. I don't know if you know who he is, but he
No.
played Charles Manson in Helter Skelter.
Right.
Okay. And I think he played the later version, the most recent version of Helter Skelter, because there's like 2 or 3 of them. Okay.
That's
Right.
All called Helter Skelter. But it's
Right.
like Jeremy Davies. And I got like this extended director's cut or something, and they showed you what he went through to become Charles Manson, right? I mean, he really studied him and he was studying his mannerism. It got to the point where he couldn't get casted in anything. And then when he did get casted, he was casted in that TV series Lost.
Right.
He was in one of the, it wasn't like third or fourth season or something like that when he comes in, because he's comes in as one of the scientists off the boat that's off the shore somewhere, or whatever. Anyway, you can see the Charles Manson mannerisms in him still.
That's scary. Yeah.
Like
My
his
God. Yeah,
movements,
especially, like-
the way he talks and everything. He got inside his head because he studied him so hard that, you know.
Wow. So wanted to ask you, if you guys were willing to see the new Blade, who would you think would be best to play Whistler?
That's a really hard question.
I'll let my hair go gray.
Okay, so Joe is going to be Whistler in the new
No,
Blade.
I don't know. I'm just saying it'd be hard to replace Chris Christopherson in that role in my eyes. Just like it would be hard to replace Wesley Snipes. You know, they'd really have to. I mean, maybe get Willie Nelson to do it if he wasn't so old.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, there's like, yeah, like I don't know if anybody could do it as good as Chris Christopherson, because
I don't think anybody could. They'd have to kind of they'd have to, when they do this, my advice to them is, instead of trying to make him an old man like Chris Christopherson played, like reinvent the Whistler character altogether.
Yeah,
Yeah, they would have to like make it their own.
Oh,
really.
Right.
You know, it's like the one dumb thing that I feel like Whistler did in the movie. Like you know that like right after they bring Karen back to their hideout, and like he's like refueling the car, and he lights up a cigarette. Yeah, that was so dumb. It's like but then like few people like defend it, saying, "Oh, well, but the cigarette's not making contact with the gasoline." And I'm like, gasoline gives off
that all the time at the gas stations.
I mean, gasoline gives off fumes that are just as flammable. Even like a spark coming in contact with those fumes would be enough.
And like that's really, really bad for audiences watching that, because a lot of people don't have common sense. You know, they'll see that.
And the other worst part is he was spilling the gas all over that beautiful Dodge Charger.
Yeah,
and gasoline ruins the paint job.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, I'm a Mopar guy. I really love Mopars, and
I mean that looked like it was like what I think a '68 Dodge Charger.
Yep,
and that's like one of those.
It was
classic
just like
cars.
the General Lee.
Yeah, very true. Hey, Sitting Ducks.
And they made that car look tougher. I gotta say this: they made that car look tougher than Dom's car in Fast and Furious.
Oh yeah.
The Dodge Charger and that. Now I want Blade's Dodge Charger.
Yeah, definitely.
That car was like
Hands
so
down.
cool as a judge. You know, they really made that car look cool.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, they've like added some modifications to it. I'm guessing like they put on some like bulletproof plating to it in the movie. So Yeah, which is like typical with some superhero films. You know, like always have like some kind of a modified car, like Batman and the Batmobile, for instance.
Yeah, I'll go
Yeah.
with James Bond's cars any days, and Aston Martin, totally.
Yeah, the Aston Martin DB5 with a front wing
yeah.
machine gun.
No.
Yep, my family's been a fan of it ever since Goldfinger. Yeah, my dad saw that in theaters back in 1964.
Oh, that must have been amazing back then. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I only
Tell you
watched
what,
a
don't-
few of those movies. Wasn't
Yeah.
a big fan of the James Bond series, but I watched a few of them.
Yeah, I have to say, like, I feel like it's quite dividing James Bond. Like, either you're really into it and you really like it, or you're just like, meh, it's okay. Like, there
Right.
doesn't seem to be any in between. It's just,
Well, You know,
Yeah, and Shadowheart, I totally agree with you. Blade made trench coats like even more cool.
oh,
Yep.
yeah,
And then
that's true.
and then
I
Oh,
got
yeah.
one.
Matrix.
I
The
was gonna
Matrix.
sit here. I was gonna sit here wearing my black leather trench coat like that.
Oh,
I got one that looks-
where is it? Go and get
it's-
it.
It's hanging in the bedroom.
Oh,
But yeah, and like it's like the Matrix didn't come out for another year after this film, but then there are like a few moments like where that meeting that Frost and Blade had in the park, like Frost is trying to get Blade involved in his plan. But when Blade refuses and shoots at Frost dodges those bullets flying right at him, and I'm thinking that's like Matrix style right there.
yeah.
Yeah, slow motion.
Yeah, the slow motion.
yeah.
Yeah.
But they did that. They did that to prove how fast that vampires can actually move compared to the ordinary human.
Yeah, superhuman abilities.
Well, yeah. Look how much time was wasted, and he still made it just in time to save the little girl from getting hit by the bus.
Yeah, so that girl's lucky that Blade has those powers. You know, the superhuman speed power, and I like that comment that Blade made, like about the sunblock saying your mascara's running. Yeah,
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, but the sunblock, I gotta say, the sunblock it wouldn't possibly be able to fully protect him. It's like he's also like forgetting like the top of his head, where because sunblock is only applied to presumably to his face and to his like skin and his arms and whatnot.
Whatever is exposed.
But there's areas that are exposed, like the back of your head is not covered, like the whole
And
area of your head.
Oh my gosh,
So
the
sunlight could still get to him.
parting, scalp, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
The sunlight should have still killed him.
Well, he was definitely on a time limit. That's the whole point. They had a time limit when they went out in the daylight. That's why they wanted Blade's powers so bad. They wanted to be a daywalker just like him. That was the whole point. Because even with sunblock, they probably maybe could last an hour, 2 tops before they had to get cover,
Yeah. So they were just jealous, basically.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. They were jealous, and they also feared Blade because it's like he goes after the vampires. The vampires didn't really stand much of a chance. And let's see. And also another thing I noticed about Frost is like that character, in more than half his dialogue, he drops an F-bomb in like every other sentence.
Yeah, he doesn't have a wide range of vocabulary, does he?
Well, that's because, just like he said, like Dan said earlier, he comes off as a spoiled rich brat.
Pretty much.
His character.
Yeah, he's like defiant towards authority. He goes against the vampire council.
Well, he feels he's entitled.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even the council was pointing out after that nightclub massacre in the beginning, saying your nightclubs are dangerous. They're saying you shouldn't be doing this, and he's like saying, we should be ruling the humans, not like just living among them. That's his whole nature. He was a renegade.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we got to also talk about that fight scene between him and Blade in the end, because it's like this is after the ritual was completed. He possessed all the powers where Frost possessed all the powers of La Magra, I think that's what the god's name was, and then fighting off Blade, and the effects were pretty iffy in that scene where he was like regenerating his arm, like all that blood and like animated blood used to like regenerate, and I thought that would look, yeah, like even by 90 standards, that did not look great. That's the only flaw I've seen as far as the effects. And then it's like a Matrix style sword fighting scene, and it was just insane. Oh, also, I just surprised we didn't even mention this earlier. There was a this like agent, this chemical that was used to treat blood clots that Karen introduced the Blade and Whistler to, that was used to explode vampires, like called DDT.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they have this. They have like these in vials and just stab them vampires with it, and it causes them to explode. I was just like, wow, that's like a messed up way to go.
That's dark. Yeah.
And that was what he used to kill Frost.
Blew up like
made him explode.
pink brain.
That's right. And then there was Frost's girlfriend that Karen killed with that vampire mace that was made of garlic, which Blade said was, or no, Whistler said it was made out of garlic that causes
and essence and silver, something silver. It
silver
was
nitrate
essence of garlic and silver nitrate. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. And Whistler said it causes epileptic shock, which raises the question: is if she was going to epileptic shock, then why did her head explode?
Oh.
Like I've seen epileptic shock, and not once have I ever seen somebody's head explode from that.
Maybe it had some of that. Did you say DBT or whatever it was?
Yeah, but they didn't have that yet.
They didn't have it yet.
They didn't
yeah,
have
it doesn't
that.
make any sense.
No, it doesn't. But see, there's always little flaws in movies, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just one of the very.
They've got a time frame and a budget, so it's not going to be absolutely 100% perfect. I mean,
not everybody. No movie out there is without a few flaws. You know, I mean, I got some Best Picture winners right here in my collection, and I noticed a few flaws in them. You know, not everything's going to be absolute.
I mean, look at some of the best horror films where people are alone and they're like, oh, what's that noise? Or what's that? And they go alone in the dark to go and look for it. And it's like,
that's the stupidity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Never
like,
comes out.
Especially with dumb teens in horror films. You know?
Yes.
As far as
we wouldn't have horror films if it wasn't for them creating such stupid people
exactly.
that would go into the woods alone, or
especially in Friday the 13th Part 3. Now that had some of the
walk in their underwear alone.
My God, so dumb. And one of the biggest flaws as far as the conflicts between characters, why does Blade constantly allow what was his name? Quinn, Frost's right-hand man. He constantly allows him to just walk away, like just live, when he could have easily killed him. Like he had him stapled to the wall in the nightclub scene, and then set him on fire. But it just sets him on fire. Then goes to the hospital, cuts off his arm, and lets him get away again.
He always gets away.
Yeah, whatever it takes.
I think what it is it's like, he uses him to get information, and he's like, I'm letting you know that I can take you out at any given time I want.
Well,
and you ain't got a choice. So he's like toying with him at the same time.
Or he tells him, tell him this, like a henchman, like pass the word.
He's Blade's using him as like a little errand boy.
Yeah.
Get to Frost, get messages back to Frost, or tell Frost this, or why is he doing this to get information out of
Oh yeah, that's true.
I just wanted to reflect on one thing, right? So if you think about how many vampire movies there are, Interview with the Vampire, Queen of the Damned, you've got obviously Blade, and you've got Twilight later, and Buffy. Just like there's so many vampire franchises.
Underworld.
Yeah, Underworld, just
Oh yeah,
so many. And I just think, what is the fascination with
These are great
vampires?
ones.
Women.
I'll tell you,
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
living forever.
Dracula. It is, right? That's exactly what I was thinking. Is it immortality?
Yes,
Is that
Yes.
what we're obsessed with?
yes.
It must be.
I think it is. Yes.
Hmm.
See,
The
I go around,
immortality.
you know that. I go around telling people I'm a vampire. I'm going to live forever. I seriously do that.
That's
But it's a
can,
joke, see, because I had the blood cancer, you know.
yeah.
Always
Yeah.
I always ate like the beef, bloody rare, you know. I kept third shift hours, so I was always going to sleep as the sun was coming up in the morning and waking up about the time it was going down.
Oh, Joe, but
Oh,
that's your secret, right? Like
So,
you're immortal. That's
well,
incredible.
I say that as a joke because you got to keep a sense of humor in life. You know, I've been through more shit than you can possibly imagine and survive
Of
it all.
course. Of
I'm
course,
literally a
no.
survivor of a lot. You'd be surprised. You'd be shocked.
Total
Yeah.
respect, Joe.
If you
Like
heard,
honestly.
if you heard my stories, you'd be in tears by the
I'm
time we're
sure I
done.
would.
Okay.
man.
But the thing is, I survived all of this. I'm going to live forever. Even cancer couldn't kill me, you know.
Oh, it's such an achievement, Joe. Like honestly,
So,
you've been through so much. So
So,
total respect
you
to
know,
you.
so
100%.
I got to keep my sense of humor because I told my favorite nurses, because I had two favorite nurses. They were my primary nurses. You know, one would sit there and baby me, and the other one would come up and give me a kick in the ass. Okay, to get exercising and you know. So you know, I got the best of both worlds. But I told them about this that you know, I can't believe I survived it, and there's got to be a reason.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
totally.
You know.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely have to do like a show on you, Joe, at some point, like interviewing you and your life.
Yeah, right.
It'd be very
Maybe write a
interesting.
book, right? We'll write a book on my life, and it'll be a #1 bestseller hit.
You should do it.
Yeah.
Totally.
Thing
I'd
is, I
read
can't
it.
I can't put two words together to make sense. I'm not a writer. You know, I got lucky in English. English was my first class of the day, and the only reason I barely squeaked by and passed English. I probably would have passed it a little better, but the only reason I did so good my senior year is because I had the same book and everything my freshman year in Oregon, a different school.
Hmm.
And Oregon school being, what is that, like 14 miles outside of Madison or whatever it is, just south of Madison, Wisconsin here. Well, when I moved back to Madison, I went to a Madison school, and it was like repeating English all over. But I probably would have got a C instead of a D, but I spent about the first 15 minutes of my English class every day in the principal's office for one thing or another.
Aw.
Oh, it was my own
Yeah.
fault. I was a troublemaker.
Yeah. But you can get ghostwriters for that stuff. You know, you just kind of
Oh, yeah.
say, like, you can just talk like an interview and then somebody's going to write it for you. Totally.
That's true.
I always thought it'd be a good book or a good movie.
Yeah. It would be 100%. People need to know your story.
You know, because
Gives us all hope.
see, when I survived the leukemia, I survived death too, because I did die where they had to use those paddles to bring you back like 5 or 6 times.
I remember you mentioning that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's incredible.
great.
It really
That's
is.
the reason that I believe so much in the paranormal, is because during that time, one of those times that I was out of it, I had an out-of-body experience. You know,
That's interesting.
and my mom was out in the waiting room having, I don't want to say heart attack, but it had something to do with her heart, and she was having issues, and they were out there attending to her, and they had to give her shots and stuff because they pretty much had me dead.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And then when they finally stabilized me, they said, well, not much we can do. You'll be lucky to make it to Christmas.
Oh
And
my goodness.
here I be.
Wow, that's incredible,
At that
Joe.
time, Christmas was only 3 weeks away.
Oh my goodness. No,
Seriously,
honestly, like your story is incredible. Like you totally have to push it, and because I'm sure it will give so many people hope as well. And you know, people need to hear all about your story.
I
For
was
sure.
I don't say this to too many people. My wife is probably one of the few people that know this, but I used to have to go see psychiatrists every now and then
Sure. I
because
mean, it's a
I had-
lot to go through.
I had
A
what you
lot.
called, I was labeled, what do you call that? Emotionally disturbed in high school.
Okay.
That's what they labeled me. I was in ED classes. Seriously.
Do you think it was to do with your condition, like how your body was?
Anyway, it might have been. But
Yeah.
anyway, I saw these psychiatrists, and it wasn't easy to trust most of them, but one of them, I have his whole, it's about this thick. Basically, he called me, and this is his words, quote unquote, that I was a psychologist's wet dream.
Oh wow. What
Because
a title.
most people that have survived what I've been through, and it's everything from childhood all the way up, would have off themselves by now and succeeded, or went totally nuts and been locked up in a mental institution.
Oh God.
Oh my gosh. Well, look at you, Joe. You're doing so well now. Honestly.
Yeah, definitely got a ghostwriter for sure.
So maybe.
You have
For
to.
sure.
Who knows?
Yeah. Got to get your story
Right
out
now, I'm
there.
having too much fun. I enjoy doing this.
Oh, guys, it's
Oh.
it's about time. Yeah, we got to wrap this up. But the next show is going to begin.
Yes.
So, yeah, I have a few ideas for what we can cover next week. One of them I'm thinking of is the 1998 version of Godzilla.
Oh.
Yeah,
I love
just
that
that something-
film.
Yeah, that's something to compare it to, like to compare that to the 1954 version, and because it's like one of those movies that some people have a guilty pleasure towards, but others just straight up hate it. Like that movie's got a lot of hate when it came out.
I haven't
Even-
watched it recently, but I remember watching it when I was younger and I loved it. Yeah.
People can
Oh.
be too harsh on some of these movies.
Mm,
That's true. With Matthew Broderick, yes, along with several of the cast members of The Simpsons.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember that one now.
Yeah, it had Hank Azaria, Harry Shearer. Let's see, Nancy Cartwright. Like they had
Nancy
several of-
Cartwright, isn't she the voice of Lisa
no Bart.
Simpson?
No, like
She
Lisa
does
is.
Bart.
Yeah, Bart. Yeah, Lisa is played by Yardley Smith. Yeah, Yardley Smith was in Maximum Overdrive before The Simpsons.
mm.
And she was also in the TV series before The Simpsons too, if I remember right.
I believe so. Yeah.
Because
Nice,
she's
yeah.
got the
That
same
would be
voice.
good.
Because her voice for Lisa isn't much different than her real voice, so you recognize her when she talks.
Oh, totally. Yes, totally. So I'm thinking of that. I'm thinking of other things like Scream 3. I'm thinking of like I do have a few other ideas that I'll let you guys know what we decide.
That sounds good. Thank you. Thank you, guys. It was lovely.
Totally. Yep. Yeah, it's great having you guys on here. So as for the rest of this week, Thursday I'm going to be back on the video game live stream, wrapping up the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy. Yeah, like because right now I've been playing Crash Bandicoot Warped, and still, even after 25 years, still one of my all-time favorite games. My very first video game. So. Oh man, yeah, like it's been awesome playing it again. So and then then the very next day is when The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered comes out, and that's what everybody wants me to play. And I'm pumped about that, but I can't. But unfortunately, I do have something going on Friday, so I'm not gonna be able to play it right away. But Saturday, definitely. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna start playing that Saturday, and I can't wait to see what they did with the new version of this game. So that is it for Blade. Awesome movie. Highly recommended for anybody who's into Marvel. Highly recommended for anybody who's into Marvel or vampires in general. It's great stuff. Yeah. So
all three of those movies were awesome, and I don't usually say that about trilogies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like sequels, but those three were some great movies.
They were good stuff. So hope you guys enjoyed, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to all of our channels, our social media, and we'll see you guys next week. Man, that I'm thinking about it, but I'm thinking maybe Godzilla 1998. So hope you guys enjoyed this edition of the Fear Fans podcast, and we'll see you guys next week. Until then, have a good night, everybody.
Night.